Oh, the weather outside is frightful. But the fire is so delightful.
Oh, fuck!
And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Die Hard!
Bruce Willis, Die Hard.
Die Hard, a film so overwhelmingly exciting, awesome, and manly, simply shouting out its title will quadruple your testosterone count.
Yeah, Die Hard!
Yeah. Wait, didn't Bruce Willis appear in that show once? Whatever. Die Hard!
Die Hard!
Now this film actually has an interesting production history, so sit down, shut up, and allow me to enlighten you. Back in 1966, an American novelist called Roderick Thorpe published a crime story called The Detective. The detective in question, one Joe Leland, is hired to investigate the death of a widower's husband. Now this book got a film adaptation 2 years later starring Frank Sinatra, which just scraped into the top 20 highest grossing films of 1968. And due to the success of the film, Thorpe was asked to write a sequel, and if he did, the studio would definitely buy the rights. And Thorpe was like, fuck yeah! So he wrote Nothing Lasts Forever, which kinda sounds like a Bond film actually, but I digress. And everything was on track to adapt this sequel into a film sequel starring all blue eyes once again. Problem though is, Sinatra declined the role, which makes sense with him being 64 at the time. But no worries, for the story of Nothing Lasts Forever would go to good use, as it was going to be reworked as a sequel to the 1985 film Commando. And yes, it was intended that Arnold would reprise his role as John Matrix. Arnold wasn't interested either. Yeah, apparently he wasn't too keen on doing sequels at the time. My, how times have changed. But Fox really wanted Arnold, so just for him, they reworked the story so that Nothing Lasts Forever would become its own standalone film, and the protagonist was changed from John Matrix to John McClane. Okay, Arnold, now you're gonna do the film, right?
Fuck you, asshole.
So Arnold still wasn't interested, so the hunt went on to find a replacement actor. Everyone from Mel Gibson to Sylvester Stallone to Richard Gere even were all in consideration to play John McClane. But Fox were then like, well, no current action star is interested, let's just go with this guy. Fox made the dumbest smart decision in history that day. So let's see what John McTiernan and the ex-spokesman for Seagram's wine coolers cooked up for us. This is Die Hard! So our film begins with McClane on a plane as he's on his way to Los Angeles to meet up with his wife and kids for the holidays. John, however, is not keen on the whole flying thing, so that dude from Ernest Saves Christmas has some advice.
You want to know the secret to surviving air travel?
Don't fly Ryanair.
After you get where you're going, take off your shoes and your socks. Then you walk around on the rug barefoot and make fists with your toes.
Fists with your toes. Well, someone clearly smuggled a few Zambucas on board. Look, man, what you gotta do is, you gotta make fists with your toes.
Fists with your toes?
Yes, and you also gotta make dolphins with your hands, candles with your earwax, and a hot dog with your penis and your butt cheeks.
Okay.
So John arrives in the terminal and quickly meets up with Argyle, a limo driver his wife's boss arranged for him.
What do we do now?
Was hoping you could tell me. It's my first time driving a limo.
Hey, that guitar thief kid from Blues Brothers is moving on up in the world. Good for him.
Relax. We got everything in this mug, man. Look at this. CD, CB, TV, telephone, full bar, VHS.
Wi-Fi? Not for another 17 years. And oh man, as the late 80s fully realised when Argyle plays this.
It was December 24th on Hollis Avenue, the dark, when I seen a man chilling with his dog in the park.
Oh yeah, I can dig it.
Very slowly with my heart full of fear. Looked at his dog, oh my God, a ill reindeer.
You're a suspect in the house. That how will kick you in the genitals. The best Christmas movie, but it's rather unconventional. Fox Center, this is Claude. I know this is reckless. Let's go chop a rid up and his venison for breakfast.
I am the white Eminem.
So Argyle drops John off and agrees to hang around in case things go sour with his wife. And judging by Holly isn't going by Holly McLean anymore, well, my guy's idea was a good one. Hey, wait a minute, go back. Okay, for some reason the screen says Holly Gennaro, but when John selects the name, it changes to Holly Gennaro. Screw up and I'll technical support. I mean, geez, guys, what kind of silly nilly gets somebody's name wrong?
The first one I chose was unusual subject.
Huh. I guess my name's the unusual subject now. Hey, when the #1 most subscribed YouTuber in the world says your name is the unusual subject, that's what most people are gonna know you by. Don't get me wrong, Felix, I'm very grateful for the shout out. Brofist. So John heads upstairs and quickly meets up with Holly's Japanese boss, Mr. Takagi, as well as another quirky individual. Meet Harry Ellis, Nakatomi's premier head of international relations. Now, bear with me regarding this comparison, but I liken this gentleman to Santa Claus. He's a laughing, gift-giving, bearded man. He's travelled the globe, he likes to break into other people's property, and to top it off, he has a fascination with Coke. Oh, but that's where the comparisons end. I mean, would you let this man near your kid? I thought not. Shut up, Ellis.
Think he's got his eye on you.
It's okay, I have my eye on his private bathroom.
Well, if he has his own private bathroom, what was he doing sniffing coke in your office? 'Cause he was high. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Good point. Hang on. What the hell are you doing? Weed? No. What are you doing there? Weed. Never mind. So things seem pretty tight between John and Holly, but awkward levels rise to about 11 when John brings up the whole last name thing.
They figure a married woman's got
You are a married woman, Holly. You're married to
We're
me.
gonna have this
Remember, you didn't
conversation
waste
again.
much
We
time
did this in
getting out of
July.
We never finished this conversation in July.
Okay, John is being a bit of a dick about this, but Holly, why would you not want McLean as your last name? It's badass. It can take even the lamest of first names and make them sound amazing. Watch. Dick. McLean. Gaylord. McLean. Jar Jar. McLean. It just works. Take full advantage, woman. But unbeknownst to our heroes, trouble is afoot as a group of deadly European terrorists arrive at Nakatomi to cause some havoc. Their first port of call, the front desk.
So Kareem rebounds, right? Feeds Worthy on the break, over to AC, to Magic, then back to Worthy, right? Boom! 2 points.
Oh, come on, man. If you're gonna go with basketball punch, you could have said boom shakalaka. Missed opportunity.
What are you looking at, you hockey puck?
So the group closes all the doors and puts Nakatomi on lockdown as Hans Gruber, played brilliantly by Alan Rickman, orders his men to round up some hostages. Luckily for John, however, he manages to escape to the next floor.
Now, where is Mr. Takagi?
Joseph Yoshinobu Takagi. Born Kyoto, 1937. Family emigrated to San Pedro, California, 1939. Interned Manzanar, 1942 to 43.
And despite how much I know about this gentleman, I apparently do not know what he looks like.
Law degree, Stanford, 1962. MBA, Harvard, 1970.
And might I add how impressive knowing all of this is, for Wikipedia has not been invented yet. So Takagi-san speaks up before Hans tells everyone what he was doing at Pearl Harbor that one time. He lit up a doobie, shh. As Hans takes Takagi up a floor in the longest elevator ride ever. Seriously, I timed this. It takes them 32 seconds to go up one floor. No elevator ride takes that long. Unless, of course, you're playing Fallout 4, but I digress. So it turns out Hans wants a code key from Takagi, which will help unlock a vault containing $640 million in bearer bonds. John eavesdrops on the conversation, but there is one thing I never understood about this scene. Takagi's logic.
It's useless to you. There are 7 safeguards on our vault, and the code key is only one of them. You'll never get it open.
Then there's no reason not to tell it to us.
Well, yeah, good point. Okay, Takagi, a man is threatening your life, and to stay alive, all you need to do is give the guy a bit of information he supposedly has no use for. Need I remind you that you are married and a father of 5, and if you do not give up said bit of useless information, your only contribution to society this Christmas will be 5 orphans, a widow, and a double door decorated with your brain matter. So, Mr. Takagi, what's it gonna be?
You're just gonna have to kill me.
What?
Okay.
Well, at least there was enjoyment to be found there in how nonchalantly Hans shot that gun then. The history of film would be very different if every conflict was solved like that. Hey Hans, just shut the Death Star for me, would you?
Okay.
Oh, and for anyone who's curious as to what Takagi's password is, it's Akagi. Really? Your combination to a safe that stores $640 million is just your name but with 1 letter removed?
That's the stupidest combination I ever heard in my life!
I mean, there's only one man on the planet who should do that with his name. And that's Gary Oldman. Remove the R in his name and it's always good for a cheap laugh. So John narrowly escapes, and after ringing the fire alarm to signal for help does no good, he's forced to hide again as one of the terrorists comes up to kill him.
You might as well come out and join the others. I promise I won't hurt you.
I'm just gonna kill ya. Really, really bad. I still not going to hurt you, I swear. So John's little distraction works as he manages to get Tony held up at gunpoint, but he proceeds to do something a little, stupid. What was he hoping would happen there? I mean, wouldn't it have made more sense to ask him to drop his gun first and tie him up or something? Hell, I'd probably handle the situation better. Drop it, dickhead. It's the police.
You won't hurt me.
Oh yeah? What? So John quickly gets in a fight but comes out victorious thanks to his trusty stunt double, as he then decides to send Tony down the elevator for shits and giggles. Whoa, that lady's got a pair of lungs on her.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
I just love that line. It completely makes me forgive the fact that the actor playing Tony totally blinks when his head is shifted. I mean, geez, that wink is so obvious you could submit it to Wheezy Waiter.
Wheezy Waiter.
So it turns out Tony had a brother, that being Carl here, and he is... I want blood! A part-time vampire, but also understandably angry. So Hans sends him upstairs to kill John before he can signal for help. Stunt double, don't fail me now!
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
Oh, and speaking of McClane not falling when he should, check this scene out as he escapes down the elevator shaft. Yeah, 8 broken fingers later you could do that. Wow, I haven't seen someone go down a shaft that fast since... Silence! I was wondering when you were going to show up. So John manages to lose Carl as his little SOS call managed to prove fruitful. That is, if the backup you were looking for was none other than Carl from Family Matters. But before John can signal some real shit is going down, he has a couple more goons to deal with. Okay, I love this scene, but let's take a reality check. Count how many bullets John shoots here. Well, John has officially unlocked the infinite ammo cheat. Might as well take full advantage. Hey, John, when you have an opportunity to kill a stupid, annoying Canadian pop star, don't hesitate.
Thanks for the advice.
So Powell here is completely clueless, somehow not hearing the billion gunshots going on above. So in order for John to get his attention, he heeds the advice of the weather girls.
It's raining man. Welcome to the party, pal.
So the police finally arrive in full, as John decides to give Hans a call for a friendly chat.
I thought I told all of you I want radio silence until further...
Sorry, Hans. I didn't get that message.
I also didn't get the message from the script supervisor that it's impossible to interrupt someone using a two-way radio. But fuck logic, this is Die Hard!
Mr. August. Are you still there?
John, are you forgetting something?
Unless you want to open the front door for me.
Hello, don't you freaking remember that you have no shoes on? You tried to take Tony's earlier, only for them to be too small, but Heinrich here might have bigger feet. You could have taken Marcos too, but you literally threw them out the window. Oh, but you know, take the cigarettes, they're far more important.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Ah, that line is so cool. Seriously, Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker is gonna be one of my favourite film quotes of all time. But despite its popularity, I don't think many people know where it came from. But I think I know. It's an old cowboy saying, yeah, but I think the phrase is most prominent in this scene from the 1936 film Rhythm on the Range, starring Bing Crosby.
Where the buffalo roam around the zoo and the Indians run up a rug or two. The old Bar Rex is a barbecue. Oh, yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay. Oh, yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay. He's an old cowhand from the Rio Grande.
You know, I wonder how they might feel given that their line was taken and, well, honestly perverted. So in 1988 there will be a dude called John McClane. We should start a feud cause he stole your line and you got screwed. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. All together now. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. So John cuts Hans off as we cut outside to the police. Our two main players outside are the aforementioned Al Powell and the Chief, Dwayne Robinson.
Powell, has it occurred to you he could be one of the terrorists pulling your chain?
I don't think so, sir. In fact, I think he's a cop.
How do you know that?
A hunch. Things he said. Like being able to spot a phony ID.
Jesus Christ, Powell! Could be a fucking bartender for all we know.
Oh. What? That's the sound a monkey makes when it's having sex. You better have a good reason for stopping this review. Otherwise, I'm going to take this and literally shove it up your asshole. I just wanted to tell the lovely viewers at home a fun fact. That line that Dwayne said there about McClane possibly being a bartender is extra funny because Bruce Willis actually was a bartender in real life before becoming an actor. Knowledge is the greatest drug. Back to the review. So because the whole Nakatomi thing is on the news, Argyle finally realises what's going on. So he tries to escape, only to give it up as a bad job.
Shut up.
No, you shut up!
So the chief, like an idiot, decides to send a SWAT team straight in. Their endeavours prove useless, however, as the SWAT team is wounded and their RV gets shot down by a freaking bazooka. So John is left no choice as he takes the C4 he got from Heinrich and sends it down the elevator shaft.
Geronimo, motherfucker.
Oh, right, C4 is a form of detonation. It actually needs a detonator.
They're using artillery on us.
You idiot. It's not the police. It's him.
No. So after a thorough scolding from Dwayne for destroying a building, we cut back to Ellis as he's had enough of sitting around doing nothing as he comes to talk to Hans, and for some reason he thinks it's a good idea to give John up to them. Why on earth would he think that's a good idea? Wait,
He's high.
He's high? Yes.
Ellis, you shouldn't be doing this.
Tell me about it.
No, Hans. When Ellis asked for Coke, that's not what he meant. He wanted Diet Coke. The poor guy's trying to lose some weight, you insensitive prick. So, yeah, Ellis's plan goes about as well as expected. As Hans demands John gives him the detonators.
You hear that? Talk to me. Where are my detonators? Where are they, or shall I shoot another one? Sooner or later, I might get to someone you do care about.
You know, if Hans is okay with killing people left, right, and center, why doesn't he just say this? Now, listen, Mr. Cowboy. For every minute I do not have my detonators, I will shoot a hostage in the Schnitzengruben. Starting now.
You shot me in the dick!
Do I make myself clear? Then John will be left no choice. He'll have to turn himself in. He'll be down on his knees. Carl will shoot him in the head for killing Tony. Terrorists win. Benutzer dein Gehirn, Hans. Sie traurig, pathetisch Wichser. So back outside, it turns out higher authorities have arrived. Yep, it's the feds, is where we're introduced to Agent Johnson and Special Agent Johnson. Must hail from Rockridge.
Sounds like an A7 scenario.
Agent Johnson is right.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Such as?
What about John McClane? He's the reason why we have the information we have up until now. He's also the reason why you're facing 7 terrorists instead of 12.
12? Somebody's numbers are wrong here. Okay, this is actually something the movie as a whole fucks up. All the characters in Die Hard, for whatever reason, claim there's 12 terrorists, when there are in fact 13. Tony, Heinrich, Marco, Alexander, James, Fritz, Franco, Theo, Uli, Christoph, Eddie, Karl, and Hans. Which in hindsight kind of sounds like the German version of Santa's reindeer, but the point I'm trying to make here is this. How do you fuck up the amount of characters you have in your movie? Hell, the poster has the same problem. Yes, the poster says there's one less terrorist than there actually is. God, I hate to think how the promo guys for Die Hard would fuck up other films' posters. They'd move on to subtracting numbers from the freaking titles next. I mean, what's next on their agenda? 11 Angry Men? The Fantastic 3? Friday the 12th? 6? The Fifth Sense?
It's a little redundant, isn't it?
What?
Shut up!
Moving on. So because McClane's left hand's a little short-staffed, he decides to check out the explosives they planted on the roof. This, however, leads to a rather unfortunate confrontation.
Hi there.
Okay, that's really what he should have done. But in actuality, Hans thinks fast as he fakes an American accent and pretends to be an employee of Nakatomi.
I managed to get out of there and... well, I was just trying to get up on the roof and see if I could signal for help, you know.
Okay, let me get this straight. We have here a Brit playing a German pretending to be an American.
I know who I am! I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Right.
You don't work for Nakatomi. And if you're not one of them...
Okay, John, you may very well be putting on an accent, but you can still tell it's Hans.
You don't work for Nakatomi.
You're not from Nakatomi. You can see right through that accent. I mean, you can still tell it's my voice no matter what accent I just use at any given moment. Yeah, I mean, simply changing your voice doesn't trick people into believing you're somebody completely different. Exactly. So John gives Hans an empty gun as he falls for the bait. But before John can do anything, more terrorists arrive to kick his ass. Come on, John. Okay, I did show this earlier, but check out this scene.
I've got 100 people down here and they're covered with glass.
Glass? Who gives a shit about glass?
Okay, Google. Define hypocrite.
Hypocrite, a person who engages in the same behaviors he condemns others for. The most noteworthy example
Is John McClane.
is not John McClane, but the unusual suspect, who claims he loves his fans but takes 15 billion years to upload a new video.
But they take forever to write, you bitch!
This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Yeah, right, it's a Google. So John manages to escape, though I do question why Hans and Carl don't just follow John's blood trail here, but...
Smile, Carl. We're back in business.
Die Hard sure loves its epic head turns, doesn't it? Ow, fuck. So as John tries to get the glass out of his foot, Powell calls again for a pep talk.
I had an accident.
The way you drive, I can see why. What'd you do?
Run over your cabin, flip with the car.
I shot a kid.
Please have the kid be Urkel, please have the kid be Urkel, please have the kid be Urkel.
He was 13 years old.
Julian White was 12 when he first played Urkel. Just saying.
Oh, it was dark. I couldn't see him. He had a ray gun, looked real enough. You know, when you're a rookie, they can teach you everything about being a cop except how to live with a mistake.
Sorry to burst in on your little moment here, pal, but you do realise that you're using a goddamn party line. This is not the moment to tell of the time you shot a kid, you dumbass. Did you forget about the bloody news guys that are listening to this same broadcast frequency? If they were listening into your conversation, they will have a field day when they realise the cop who shot a kid is not only still on active duty, but also still allowed to carry a firearm. Hell, no wonder you're working a desk in the sequel. Powell, listen to me. Your mouth is a lot like your butthole. If you're around others, it's best you keep it shut if you feel the need to let some past regret slip out.
I feel like shit anyway.
So as John's talking with Powell, he has a quick realization. What was Hans doing up on the roof anyway? The answer becomes quickly evident as the roof has been wired to blow with the intent of killing all the hostages and the FBI whilst the terrorists make it out of the building via another way. But before John can warn the police, Carl shows up.
We're both professionals. This is personal.
You know, I'm just going to put this out there. Alexander Godunov as Carl is incredible in this movie. Because it is unbelievable to think that this man I'm about to show you is the same guy. Cold-blooded terrorist, accomplished ballet dancer. That's one hell of a resume. So John is quick to disarm Carl as they have a little fight. To the death. John comes out victorious though, leaving Carl hanging as he makes his way to the roof to get the hostages out. The FBI, however, could be used for one of the terrorists.
On your side, you assholes!
Well, at least Johnson's living up to his name, because he's acting like a right dick. So the hostages get back downstairs, escape with the styrofoam rubble, as it looks like there's no choice left but to blow the roof now?
Blow the roof.
The car's up there! Blow the roof!
Okay, the dynamite's in place.
Whoa. Think about this for a second, Hans. If you decide not to blow the roof now and simply tell Eddie here to round up the hostages again, you can bring them back to the roof and carry on with the plan like nothing happened. So, just quickly find the hostages and...
Too late, this is more fun.
Bender?
Hey, bite my shiny metal ass.
Okay. So John's left no choice but to take the scenic route back to the 31st floor as he becomes overcome by explosions freaking everywhere. What? Why the hell did the elevator explode? Seriously, I never understood this. It's like Michael Bay took over directing for a second. Oh god. Can you imagine how the film might have turned out if he did direct it?
Holy Christ.
So meanwhile, back in the parking lot, we see Theo is hauling away the stolen bearer bonds. And yeah, this is a pretty major plot hole in my opinion. What the hell was these guys' plan of escape? Are you mean to tell me that in this tiny little ambulance you were planning on fitting 13 terrorists and $650 million in bearer bonds? And how are you gonna get out? Theo closed all the gates and destroyed the controls for him, remember? I mean, yeah, you could ram through the gate, but that draws some major attention, especially in an ambulance with a bloody typo on it.
Oops.
Okay, well, Argyle takes out Theo with his limo as John manages to make his way to Hans. As it turns out, he took Holly as a hostage, but John is forced to drop his gun, but he is a man with a plan. Hey, has anyone ever noticed Eddie's face just before he gets shot? He's like, duh. That's actually something to watch out for in other films. Characters' faces are framed just before they die. It's pretty funny. Like in Order of the Phoenix, for example. Spoiler alert, so go here if you don't want to know. Right? Where Bellatrix kills Sirius. This is his face just before he dies. That is a happy man.
Happy trails, Hans.
Wait a minute, so you guys hear Holly scream but not the gunshots? Look, in terms of scale, here's how loud a typical scream is. Now here's how loud a gunshot is. Rest in peace, headphone users. So in the final tussle, Hans falls to his death in spectacular fashion. John and Holly make out, then make it out. John unites with Powell and everything seems hunky-dory. Right? Ah! The fucker's alive! Everyone got Ted Nugent on his ass! Just making sure. So it's Powell who saves the day, God bless him, as it looks like giving a gun back to a man who shot a kid was actually a good idea. America. So Holly and John go on their way. Holly gets her revenge on Dickless here, and Argyle breaks through the gate to reunite with John as he whisks our star-crossed lovers away. End movie. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was Die Hard. For anyone who outright denies that Die Hard is a Christmas film, take a listen to what they play during the end credits.
And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
I rest my case. I mean, God, some of you make it out like Die Hard came out in July or something. Just 1 second. Okay, well, apparently that means diddly squat because White Christmas came out in October, It's a Wonderful Life didn't get a wide release until January, and the original Miracle on 34th Street came out in May. And no one denies that they're Christmas films, so... But let's go ahead and ask something that might get you crucified on the internet. Does Die Hard do anything wrong? Two things. Two very minor things. One is this. The police in the movie are unbelievably inept, where it would appear that Los Angeles' most competent cop is an overweight child-shooting buffoon who has a fixation with Twinkies. The police in this movie, outside of Powell, are all just cliches. It could have been interesting if characters like Dwayne here had a bit more to him. You know, instead of him just playing the role of the pompous by-the-numbers boss. But please understand, I am beyond nitpicking here, and I feel like they had to make the police somewhat incompetent to make McClane look better. The other, my major issue concerns Bruce Willis himself and how painfully obvious his stunt double is at times. Now, yeah, this film has some pretty extreme stunts. I'm not expecting Bruce Willis to fall down a flight of stairs or jump off a building. If your main star gets injured, that completely halts filming, so the use of veteran stuntman Kate Johnston here is completely understandable. What isn't understandable is why Bruce needed a stuntman to hang off some guy's back, fall back a bit, and shimmy himself along a floor. I do feel Bruce should have done more of his own stunts here, because when you watch this film back in HD, it is painfully obvious when Johnston is on camera. Hell, the guy's face is completely visible on numerous occasions. Hello, I'm in this movie. But enough nitpicking. Now to gloat. Die Hard is one of the best action movies in cinema history, and I think it couldn't have come at a better time. Because the problem with many 80s action films was that stars like Schwarzenegger and Stallone were invincible. They all took on swarms of bad guys and very rarely broke a sweat, which made it very difficult to root for them. The average moviegoer just couldn't really identify with them. So as a result, we couldn't call many 80s action flicks any more than guilty pleasures, hence the guilty pleasure connotation we have nowadays with 80s action flicks. But with Die Hard, our main hero is pretty out of his depth. The matchup here is an off-duty cop running around in his bare feet versus 13 well-armed and well-financed terrorists. And while Schwarzenegger could have just blown them all away without flinching, Willis goes through hell. And this makes him instantly more rootable. We want to see him survive, we want to see him rise to the challenge and kick Hans Gruber's ass. And combine that aspect with Bruce Willis's likability and charisma, and you've got one hell of a winning combination. That's the key to making a good action film. Make sure your lead is likable, and put him through hell. Die Hard 1 through 3 nailed that. 4, not so much, but it did okay. But 5, yeah, that's where they really fucked it up. But there is another important ingredient every good action film has to have, and that's a good villain, and holy shit does Alan Rickman knock it out of the park here. For starters, you completely forget the guy's English. The man's pretty good with his accents. And that's not to mention his striking on-screen presence. When this man talks, you just hang on his every word.
Due to the Nakatomi Corporation's legacy of greed around the globe, they are about to be taught a lesson in the real use of power.
You know, I bet when Alan Rickman talks dirty to his wife, she gets so...
Silence!
Apologies. Oh, and I gotta give some love to Reginald VelJohnson. I mean, if I were in a skyscraper filled with 13 armed terrorists who want my head, I'd want to have Sergeant Al Powell on the other end to keep me going. It makes me sad this guy didn't appear in more Die Hard films. I mean, I know he's in 2, but that's like for what, a minute? Lame. But all in all, guys, this film just kicks ass. I don't need to say anything else. It's my favourite film to watch around the holidays, and it alone began an action movie revolution where many future action films just couldn't avoid Die Hard comparisons. It's Die Hard on a bus. It's Die Hard on a train. It's Die Hard in a plane. It's Die Hard in a plane. It's Die Hard in another plane. It's Die Hard. Okay, that was a pretty popular option for some reason. But I digress. Die Hard is just terrific entertainment, and it rightfully deserves its spot amongst the classics of action cinema. If by some horrific miracle you haven't seen this yet, you are seriously missing out. So now that we've covered our annual Christmas video, up next is the review y'all been requesting. For some reason. Yep, next time we're giving our webhead another look. So stay tuned, stay awesome, and have yourself a Merry Christmas. But seeing as how this is a Die Hard review, there is only really one way we can end this. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!
This is Les Grossman. Who is this?
This is Hans Gruber.
Oh, okay. Fuckface. First, take a big step back,
and literally fuck your own face! Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia Jack is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly fucking firestorm upon you. You're gonna have to call the fucking United Nations and get a fucking binding resolution to keep me from fucking destroying you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker! I will massacre you! I will fuck you up!